Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to our worthy guests, respected colleagues and esteemed faculty. On behalf of Pakistan Society of Internal Medicine, it is my distinct privilege to welcome you to this vaccine masterclass, a hallmark session of our 7th annual international conference of PSIM 2026. I am Dr. Hina Latif and I am Associate Professor of Medicine serving at King Edward Medical University and I am Secretary Information PSIM. And I am honored to serve you as moderator for this session. Immunization remains one of the most successful and cost-effective public health interventions in medical history. While we have made great strides in pediatric care, the focus on the adult vaccination is the new frontier. Today, we are here to bridge the gap between clinical interventions and patient application, ensuring our adult and geriatric population live not just longer, but healthier lives. Before we dive into the science, I am honored to introduce our distinguished panel of chairs who will guide our discussion over the critical areas of adult vaccination. Our first panelist for this session, Professor Azizur Rahman, President-elect PSIM, a name which needs no formal introduction. Head of department at Rashid Latif Medical College. He has served in different medical colleges in different capacities. He is editor of Journal of Pakistan Society of Internal Medicine, and he is teacher of the teachers as well. A big hand of applause for Professor Azizur Rahman. Our next panelist, Dr. Yusuf Kamal, an internationally recognized expert in cardiometabolic disease with a career-spanning leadership roles as CEO of Shaukat Hanum Cancer Care Hospital and Tabah Heart Hospital, as well as medical director at Aga Khan University. A big hand of applause for Dr. Yusuf Kamal. Our next panelist, Professor Dr. Rafat, Professor of Medicine, who has recently retired from Services Institute of Medical Sciences, Lahore. He's an expert in internal medicine, having an experience of more than 35 years in his field. A big hand of applause for Professor Rafat. Our last panelist for this session, Professor Dr. Sara Shoaib Qureshi, who is a distinguished medical professional, currently serving as Professor of Medicine at Lahore Medical and Dental College, Ghurki Trust Teaching Hospital. She is also in charge of Diabetes Care Center, Ghurki Trust Teaching Hospital. A big hand of applause for Dr. Sara as well. Pneumonia continues to be a leading cause of morbidity among the elderly and those with comorbidities like diabetes and heart disease. To throw light on the evolving epidemiology of the disease and why the pneumococcal vaccine is a non-negotiable tool in our preventive arsenal, I would like to invite Professor Salman Ayaz to the podium. Professor Dr. Salman Ayaz is a distinguished pulmonologist and Professor of Pulmonology and Critical Care Medicine at Services Institute of Medical Sciences. A recipient of prestigious Tamga Imtiaz, he serves as a key advisor to numerous government medical boards and healthcare advisor groups, contributing his expertise to the national health policy. Professor Salman, the floor is all yours. He will be talking on the burden of pneumonia and the importance of pneumococcal vaccination.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thanks to PSIM, Dr. Hina, for the kind invitation. A famous notion is an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. And the same is true for this pneumococcal vaccination, not only for the pneumococcal pneumonias, but also with its associated invasive clinical syndromes and sepsis. About the burden, substantial burden of disease worldwide across all ages. More than 10 million cases of LRTIs or pneumonias in 2017, and that's why by the end of 2019, pneumonias were considered as the fourth and now fifth leading cause of mortality worldwide. It's a huge number. And among the pneumonias, already you are knowing that in the bacterial pneumonias, most common is pneumococcal pneumonia, Streptococcus pneumoniae. This is the leading and frontline cause of the bacterial pneumonias, other than the viral pneumonias with influenza and in the recent years, COVID. Now, pneumonia, if you concentrate on this famous Curve 65 severity scoring system, you will come to know that the systemic features of the pneumonia are rather more important to determine its severity. In the respiratory systems, only respiratory rate, if more than 30 breaths minutes, is more relevant, but rest of all these, parameters like confusion, urea nitrogen, systolic blood pressure, age, these are non-respiratory. So pneumonia not only confined to the lungs, but it becomes more and more dangerous when it becomes invasive. And these are the typical consolidation patterns you can see over here. Pointer is not working. On the X-ray, in the above, you can see the consolidation pattern, diffuse consolidation. On the CT scan, you can clearly have the picture of air bronchograms. This is the alveolar filling defect with exudates, inflammation, and pus, and in between these airways gives you the air bronchogram. Okay. And then, other than these specific consolidation patterns, which are peculiar for the bacterial pneumonias, especially pneumococcus, these bilateral reticular nodular shadowing are more common with the atypical pneumonias as well as with the viral pneumonias. So this is the typical bilateral consolidation on X-ray. This is the consolidation pattern with air bronchograms on the CT, and this is the reticulonodular shadowing, bilateral, more common with viral pneumonias as well as with the atypical pneumonias. And this is pneumonia with right upper lobe collapse or atelectasis, golden S sign. So pneumonia, usually gives you the consolidation pattern, but the other reticulonodular or with the signs of atelectasis may also be there. Streptococcus pneumoniae has consistently been one of the most frequent cause of influenza-related bacterial pneumonias. So not only Staphylococcus aureus, but Streptococcus pneumoniae is as much relevant with it, and around 35% of the influenza cases result in bacterial co-infection, which can lead to increased hospitalizations, morbidity, and mortality. So not only as the primary infection, but also as a secondary co-infection, Streptococcus pneumoniae is right on the top. Its important serotypes: 8, 3, 19, 22, 12, 9, 15, 10, 23. These are all those serotypes which are more relevant, especially when these invasive types of pneumococcal disease. And as I told you before, that when this pneumonia becomes invasive, then it becomes the systemic syndromes, right from the meningitis, then arthritis, skin manifestation, multi-organ failure, septic shock, and then death. This is a substantial burden as well on the healthcare resources. And luckily, the currently available vaccine, Prevnar 13, usually covers all these serotypes of pneumonia, especially these serotypes which are related with the more than 70% of the cases of invasive pneumococcal disease. These are, luckily we have the very effective vaccines with the name of Prevnar 13, which used to cover all these serotypes, in which 8 and 3 with insurgence in the last previous 10 years, specifically it is addressed by these vaccines. So non-bacteremic or non-invasive pneumococcal disease usually gives you 75% of the burden, but when this disease becomes invasive, as I told you, the associated symptoms, it affects the whole body with multi-organ failure, and especially its components of meningitis is very important and pertinent, relevant with these serotypes of invasive pneumococcal disease. The risk of pneumonia increases with the age. So with the rising age, what happens? There is a phenomenon of immunosenescence, in which the age-related decline in immune function predisposes the elderly patients, especially more than 60 to 65 years, very prone, and around 80 years, very much prone to develop the infectious ailments, especially the risk of pneumonia with this pneumococcal disease. The other predisposing clinical conditions are the comorbidities. The more comorbidities are there, the more will be the risk of having pneumonia. So, I mean, chronic lung disease, chronic heart disease, liver disease, renal disease, immunosuppression either due to drugs or due to disease, especially with diabetes and HIV, all these makes the person, especially the aged persons, prone to develop pneumonia. And then there is inversely, this is directly proportional. The number of comorbidities are directly proportional to the risk of having pneumonias. So age and the presence of comorbidities, the more the comorbidities are there, the more the risk of having pneumonia. With 2 comorbidities, it is around 1.9 times. With 3 comorbidities, 3.4 times, and with 4 comorbidities, it is more than 6.2 times. Substantial burden or strain on the healthcare systems. Once you are having pneumonia, average hospital stay, this is the data from US and Europe, 12.6 days, and out of these 15 to 20% they end up in the intensive care units. And one patient in intensive care units in terms of dollars like 45 to 50,000 in US. So this is a huge burden. And over here, we have already experienced this burden when we were dealing with the COVID pandemic. So not only in terms of morbidity, mortality, but also on the stress on the healthcare system, this is a very relevant and pertinent that we should concentrate on the prevention of this fatal disease. Now about this Prevnar 13 efficacy and effectiveness, immunogenicity, immune responses to Prevnar 13 were non-inferior to those elicited by PPV 23, polysaccharide pneumococcal vaccine 23, currently not available in Pakistan, like it is 10 years before it was available, but now this Prevnar 13 is more and more relevant because of the presence of the serotypes. By large, it covers all these serotypes, especially the serotypes of the bacteria which are responsible for the invasive pneumococcal disease. Efficacy, in terms of efficacy, statistically significant reductions in first episode of vaccine type community-acquired pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease with Prevnar 13 in adults 65 and older. One of the largest vaccine-related clinical trial with the name of Capita actually showed this efficacy. And this is very, important. This was a very important, considered as a major breakthrough in the field of medicine. In terms of safety, it is very much pertinent and very minor. These associated adverse effects were related with this Prevnar 13, and it is very much comparable and tolerable. Prevnar 13 enhances the immune response to subsequent doses of PPV 23. So studies proved that when they combined this Prevnar 13 and subsequently after 1 year, especially in the European countries, when they potentiated with the PPV 23, so more immunogenicity was there. And then in the high-risk populations, a common myth over here is that once the patient is immunocompromised, most of the setups, they try to prevent these vaccinations because they were of the opinion that once you vaccinate these immunocompromised patients, they might get some adverse effects. But this is not the case. Rather, these high-risk population needs more and more of these preventive measures in terms of vaccinations. And in patients with hematopoietic stem cell transplant, Prevnar 13 elicited higher immune responses for all vaccine serotypes than the baseline. So actually this immunocompromised group of the patient is in more need of these vaccinations. As I told you, Capita trial, community-acquired pneumonia immunization trial in adults, considered as one of the largest trials across the globe, related with the vaccination. More than 84,496 patients, 59 sites, and over 4 years. And out of these total number of patients, 42.3% of patients were having more than one comorbidity, and they were on the higher risk to get the pneumonias. And this CAPITA trial clearly depicts 46% of the reduction or of the prevention of a first episode of the vaccine type community-acquired pneumonia. And rather the more important, which I view as intensivist as well, was the 75% reduction of the invasive pneumococcal disease. And as I told you that once this pneumococcal disease becomes invasive, then high morbidity, mortality, and substantial burden on the healthcare system. So this was very significant that 75% of this invasive pneumococcal disease was prevented by this Prevnar 13. Even the patients who were not included in that trial and that post hoc analysis of this CAPITA trial, they revealed that the patients who self-reported their comorbidities and the development of the signs and symptoms of pneumonia, they were also, around more than 40% of the reduction in those patients who self-reported their symptoms and comorbidities. Then the most important, relevant, and another post hoc analysis of this CAPITA study, it showed the maintenance of this immunity for a prolonged time. And one advantage of this Prevnar 13 over PPV 23 is that Prevnar 13 acts through the T cell mediated immunity, which gives you the memory cells. And those memory cells actually give you the prolonged effect and prolonged immunity with the help of these Prevnar 13. And this is a mere advantage of this Prevnar 13 over PPV 23. Test negative designs are usually used to compare the effectiveness of the vaccinations. And when they applied this test negative design in the post hoc analysis of this CAPITA trial, after this CAPITA trial, it clearly showed that effectiveness against hospitalized vaccine type CAP was 73%, and the similar percentage of invasive pulmonary disease was also curtailed with the help of this vaccine. You can give 4 doses. The second population is the elderly patients above, especially above 65 years, but above 60 years you must consider it. So children below 2 months, 4 shots you give as a part of immunization program. Elderly above 60 years, and in between at any age, if the patient is having risk factor, especially immunocompromised, they should get the advantage of this Prevnar 13. And another important aspect is we can simultaneously give Prevnar 13 with the influenza vaccine. And studies have shown that this Prevnar 13, when it gives simultaneously with either flu shot, quadrivalent influenza vaccine, or even with the COVID-19 vaccine, the similar effectiveness and the level of immunity you gain, because this was also a misconception that once you give one vaccine, don't give the other vaccine in the next 6 to 1 month, 1 year, but this is actually wrong. You can simultaneously vaccinate both these, give these shots at the same time, or maximally you can give them 2 weeks apart and you will get the maximum benefit. And in summary, just madam, 1 minute. Respiratory diseases including pneumococcal pneumonia are responsible for a substantial burden of disease worldwide in adults, as I told you before. Still, it is among the top 4 or 5th major cause of morbidity, mortality worldwide. Even in the above cardiovascular, stroke, and COPD cases, The substantial morbidity and mortality again is linked with these pneumonia, which comes over there as a secondary co-infection. So, I mean, most common and currently the most pertinent and deadly disease, it is there. I mean, it is acknowledged across the globe at all ages. Age and certain more comorbid conditions can increase the risk of pneumococcal disease in adults. And with the help of Prevnar 13, we can really save most of these patients as well as the burden on our healthcare resources. So vaccines work, stay protected. Thank you very much. Any questions? You are most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Salman Ayaz, for the comprehensive overview.